Hello everybody, welcome to our video advocacy. In this video you will learn the different types of learning disability along with its causes. This video will also help you in identifying the various signs that the child has a learning problem. So what is learning disability? Learning disability is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects the acquisitions of knowledge and skills. In particular, the disorder that affects the ability to understand or use spoken or written language. In simple, it means it is a problem that affects the brain's ability to receive, process, analyze or store information.
You an interesting story. It so happened that 4 young children in one of the schools found it difficult to keep up with their friends when it comes to learning. They would often get overwhelmed with even the simplest of tasks, and it would take them much more longer to comprehend and process information. The first child found it difficult to read and spell the words correctly. He found it frustrating when he couldn't understand the word on page and would often feel embarrassed when he had to read aloud in front of the class. The second child, she had difficulty with handwriting and organization of ideas, often leading to a messy and unreadable paper. She would often feel ashamed when she had to show her work to the teacher or classmate. The third child was always great at English and writing essays, but when it came to doing math homework, she always struggled to stay focused. She would stare at the numbers, trying to make sense of them, but they just seemed to blur together on the page. Her teacher would often ask her to solve simple problems in front of the class, but she would freeze up, feeling embarrassed and frustrated. The fourth child, who always loved going to school, he was excited, but he struggled to communicate with friends. He would try to speak with his classmates and teachers, but something always seemed to get in the way. Eventually, the 4 children came to understand that their difficulties did not define them. With the help of supportive teachers, parents, and peers, they learned to embrace their struggles and work on their weaknesses. They grew and flourished, each in their own way, and were able to overcome their learning disabilities. The 4 students in a story depicts the typical Buddhist student who are struggling to understand the lesson their teachers are trying to impart to them. In our society, when a person does not perform well, duty bearers often identify the individual as problematic one, which places a great deal of psychological and emotional pressure on the child. There are intelligent learners among us who flourish academically, but there are other students who struggle with their education and are in dire need of our support.
Let's discuss the causes of learning disabilities. There are numerous factors that contribute to learning disabilities. I will discuss the 3 most frequent causes of learning disabilities in this video. The most frequent cause of learning disabilities is heredity, a learning handicap caused by genes handed down from parents to children. Learning disabilities can be caused by anomalies in the developing brain, illnesses or injuries, fatal alcohol or drug exposure, and prolonged or early labor. These issues can also occur during pregnancy or during birth. Accidents are the third common cause of learning disabilities. Learning disabilities result from brain injuries, diseases, head trauma, and car accidents can all result in brain injury. A recent study shows that 11.2 million students in the United States with learning and attention issues.
Now let me take you through some of the common characteristics of learning disabilities. And it is possible that each and every individual is having some learning disability which we and which ourselves do not notice at all. And these are some of the signs that we are having a learning disability. Like number 1, slow reading rate, problem remembering mathematical facts, problem with reasoning, difficulty finding important points and main ideas, problem understanding what is read, confusion of similar words, frequent spelling errors, difficulty with sentence structure and grammar, slow writing rate, poor memory of recalling material like forgetting the things which we have kept, and the another one is inability to complete assignments in given time. So if you have this characteristic, it somehow depicts that we have a learning disability.
So, talking about our country and SEND programs, recognizing that all human beings are born with unique gifts and abilities, Royal Government of Bhutan has been committed to ensuring equal opportunities to develop their abilities and gift to take part in nation building activities since 1973, when Kaling Minsuling School was instituted, followed by the Wangsul Institute in the year 2003. Today, these projects are further strengthened with the amendment of national policies for disability. One such program is SEN Education Program. SEN Education is an educational program designed for students with special needs, which requires attention, support service in the form of trained teachers, teaching staff, equipment, care within or outside a regular classroom.
Now let me take you through some of the methods of preventing learning disability and some of the tips, some of the ideas that will help people having learning disability. Although it is said that there is no cure for learning disability, nevertheless, early identification and intervention will help to cope up in certain situations. And learning disability can be prevented at an individual level, such as by reducing the chances of brain injury. You know that one of the causes of learning disability is through accidents, and the another one is not abusing toxic substances during pregnancy and after giving birth, and the another one is eliminating stressful influences from your child's home and social environment, and lastly, providing good nutrition and a healthy environment for your child. For classroom teaching and learning strategy, although like I said in the earlier slides that there's no cure for learning disability, but still there are some of the tips that teachers and guidance and tutors can make best use of these tips to help the students who are having learning disability. And some of the tips can be like making sure students understand what is being asked in a written assignment, explain words like compare and contrast, help student decide on a limited or workable topic for a paper. If student has a problem with sequencing, require him or her to show you an outline of ideas or informations in order in which he or she intends to present them. Encourage students to have a friend proofread assignments and make corrections. Another one is give all instructions both in writing and verbally. Allow students to provide oral responses as well as written ones. Allow students to tape record lectures. Provide students with a note taker. Provide sufficient opportunities to practice. And another important thing is improving teachers' skill in instruction, like teaching in small group, individual instruction, and teaching durations.